What time-ish?
We left. Oh, so we left here like 3:30, right?
That would have been way too early. All right.
Right. And we got up there a little after 4 because everybody was rubbernecking on the accident that was over on 81 southbound.
I had heard about that. Yeah.
It was like when you would come on like the Pittston exit from 81 south.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Apparently a truck came up the exit, and instead of going like they went around the turn, and then instead of like merging into traffic, they just kept driving straight across the 2 lanes and then went down the hill. So the cab was like down the hill, and the trailer itself was across the 2 lanes and into the exit.
That probably jammed things up.
So it jammed things up from there all the way to Scranton when we got off the exit. It was it was just standstill the whole way back. There were people getting out of their cars and like walking up to see what the hell was going on, right?
Right, yep. It was literally the thing when people say the highway was a parking lot.
The highway literally was a parking lot, yes. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So we're like, okay, we can't take 81 home, of course. And I was trying to like Google Maps it to see which would be the best way to get home, and like all of the routes were like 40 minutes, 41 minutes, 49 minutes. We feel this is the best way, even though there's traffic, but the traffic appears to be clearing up, so everything should be okay. So we just like went through Pittston, like past the casino and all that sort of jazz.
Right. Did you stop and play?
No, we did not. Route 11, but we were. It was one of those. It was one of those kismet things where everything is listening. You know. Mm-hmm. We were talking about it. We were talking about the casino going by it, and then Asa was playing one of his phone games, and the ad that popped up was for legal slots in Pennsylvania on a kids game, and like I mean like a little kids game,
right?
And I was telling him that's so funny because I was listening to one of my Dabbleverse shows, and they were talking about Liquid Death. Are you aware of Liquid Death? Have you heard this? Have you seen this?
Is this the thing with the Panera lemonade that's, you know, if you drink 17 of them, you die?
No. So we'll put a pin in Liquid Death. We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
Last week, because of everything that's going on with my kid, you know, and again, there's, you know, we have an appointment with not the ear, nose, and throat person. The ear, nose, and throat person was like, yeah, we can't go past the vocal cords when it comes to the throat. That's our area of expertise. Anything past the vocal cords, you're on your own, right?
That's the line of demarcation.
Yes, so we're taking him to a GI specialist next week, early in the morning.
I hope his name is Joe.
I don't know.
Because then it would be G.I. Joe.
Come on now.
Right.
So I think it was the day that we recorded that Wednesday into Thursday. Like, was it Wednesday night? Maybe it might have been Wednesday night. Yes, we recorded
Wednesday early into Thursday kind of.
Last week. Let me look to see what day it was that I would have gotten it. Because April went and stopped at Panera, right? Mm-hmm. And got us dinner at Panera. She has several different April and Asa group discussions.
Yeah, nothing worse than group discussions, but go ahead.
Well, multiple ones, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it would have been Wednesday. It would have been the night that we recorded. And then Thursday was when the story came out about the killer lemonade at Panera. Mm-hmm. And I'd said if I knew that the lemonade was killing people, I would have had you get me some.
We could do a taste test.
I would have just chugged it.
I would have went up and got some. I hear it works even better with people with heart conditions.
Yeah. But she was there on Wednesday and they discontinued it on a Thursday. Like we could have got the last one.
Right. You could have licked the bowl.
Oh. But that's such a weird like phenomenon. Like I thought, I'm like, and I did some looking into it. I'm like, is this a new item or something? But it's been on their menu for quite some time. It just so happens that within like a 7-day span, 2 people had kerfuffles the same day that they also had this electric lemonade.
Right.
So Panera's like, we're not taking any more chances. There's been no accusations, but we're not taking any chances.
These 2 people also ripped 30 lines of Spectrox, but
unrelated.
But we're going to blame the lemonade.
Right. Well, there was some, not the Prime energy drink that the Logan Paul does, but there's like a Red Bull type drink that comes in a can. And there's a Gatorade type drink that comes in a bottle. Not the Gatorade type drink that comes in the bottle, but the one that comes in the can. In the early, the reason that was so tough to get was there was an issue with the caffeine content on it. It was either they were claiming it was higher than it was, or that it was higher than it should have been.
Right. And I know I've probably told this story on the show before, but I told you about the 5-hour energy shots at the Philadelphia Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one that I'll never forget, that I taste tested like 7 of them when you're only supposed to have 1. I could feel my insides vibrating. I almost went to Earth 2 that day, Joe.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it was over the summer. I guess there was investigations in regards to the amount of caffeine that was in those. The Prime energy drinks as opposed to like the Gatorade like drinks.
Right.
It has 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is the equivalent of 6 cans of soda or 2.5 cans of Red Bull, which I hate when they do that because, it's more of an issue with the sugar if you're drinking 6 cans of soda, Coca-Cola that is, as opposed to like it's the same amount of caffeine.
But wouldn't it be the same amount of caffeine with a Diet Pepsi? It has caffeine.
Yeah, but again, they so they're specifically
aspartame
saying
is good for you.
Yeah, they're specifically saying Coca-Cola, but it's one of those things where the caffeine like doesn't stack in that way. Like if you were to drink 6 cans of Coke, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi, whatever, and then drink one of the Logan Paul energy drinks, it's not like you're going to be equally as caffeinated. Like, and again, the way that it processes things, it doesn't, because it's the concentration of it all. It's how quickly you're getting the caffeine as opposed to being spread out over, and again, 6 times 12, let me do my gazintas, 72 ounces versus 20 ounces, right?
It's like being shot with a 50 caliber bullet instead of 5 22 caliber bullets.
There's a great analogy. There you go.
Right.
So are you aware of liquid death? Do you know what this is? Have you heard of this? Have you seen this?
I've heard the term liquid death, but I don't know if it's equating to the same thing. So as you go, I'll say if I've heard something before, but go ahead.
It's a fancy canned water that also has a sparkling version.
No, never heard of this.
Yeah, when we went to see Sarah Milliken, the comedian that my wife likes, down in DC back in April, at the venue, the theater that we were at, they had like mixed drinks and so on and so forth, but they did not have bottles of water. They had cans of liquid death, and we're like, what the fuck is this, right? And they're like, no, it's just like fancy water, Instead of spending like $1.29 on a bottle of water, you're spending $3.50 on a can of water. That's called liquid death.
Right.
Yeah, it's all marketing nonsense. But where the hell was I going with the liquid death? Oh, yeah. So I was listening to one of my Dabbleverse shows. They brought up liquid death on that. And then I started getting pinged on Facebook with liquid death ads.
No, our devices don't listen to us. That's true, Joe. Don't you know? You're paranoid if you think your device is listening to you.
I know my device is listening to me. I just wish it picked up other things than I wish it picked up the things that I want as opposed to this thing that I have no interest in.
Well, the devices are paid by the companies, so those get to the like the things you want. Doesn't matter how many times you say them. The devices probably get paid by Budweiser. So when you say beer, one time, the algorithm jumps it to the top instead of donuts. You know what I mean? Like you say donuts 50 times a day, but you say beer once, you're going to get that beer.
Yeah, because comic book stuff and I get a lot of comic book stuff and I get a lot of wrestling stuff it's suggested to me on Facebook, and that's really where I get it because Twitter doesn't have good ads anymore.
What? They're all great, Joe.
And I don't get them on my PC, so I don't get I get no ads when I access Twitter through my PC because I'm ad blocked up the wazoo there. But when I go on my phone, I get, did you see, and this is one of those blink if you miss it meme things that happened on Tuesday on Twitter with the Twitter ads. Have you seen people talking about how Twitter ads are bad?
Yeah, all over X. I've seen that, Joe.
So yesterday, one of the ads that everyone was getting for whatever reason were these special sweatpants.
Yeah, okay, somebody tagged me in something, and I'm like, other than fucking sniffs, leave me out of it. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about no sniffs and nothing, but I'm trying to find one of the tweets from one of the people that was really pushing it as a goof, But the way Twitter works is very difficult these days. But it was special sweatpants that already had a hole in them so that you could jack off easier.
Oh, I don't need that.
I'm trying to find the ad.
I'm good. All
right. But those are the type of ads that you get on Facebook these days where it used to be, other things. And now you get these,
Right. Well, listen, making money. What do you want?
I guess nickels and pennies as opposed to dollars and fives, it all adds up the same. If you're playing the long game, right?
That's what it is. When you have the money, you can play the long game.
I guess.
We need profit now. They can have profit later. But
so what else is going on?
My bagel shop opened up this morning as we record this.
Oh, beautiful.
They were waiting on the inspector to come. Each day it was the inspector said they were going to come today and they didn't. So it was well, I don't know if you know this, government people don't work on the weekend. So when they said they weren't coming Friday, they pushed it to Monday, and then they didn't come Monday, got pushed to Tuesday as we record this. So I went and I was in the shiny, new, clean restaurant that's cavernous. The cavernous bagel shop. So it was very weird. So it was when you ask for your bagel, it echoes.
They need to get those foam egg crate things in there to give you the experience that you deserve.
Right. They just need more tables. That was the problem. They only had so many tables. The old little shop. So it's doesn't look right. They're going to put in more, but otherwise it was cool. They had the cooler for the sodas, and those were ice cold as compared to just cold in the old cooler. So it's God, I love a nice cool Diet Pepsi. So they're not a sponsor.
Just unrelated, as I was looking for the jack off pants ad from yesterday, I find this ad on Twitter.
Okay.
The Susu bot. Text, voice messaging, and hot photos are all possible and made with consent. Don't waste time with impersonators or deepfakes when you can have high-quality pictures and a scam-free experience.
All right.
So, were you the first one at the bagel shop?
No, dear God, no. They open at 6 a.m.
Okay.
That was too early. I was still up from having a weird sleep schedule, so
I assumed you would have been there for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
No. I thought about being the first person there and kicking down the door.
Right.
But I was let somebody else have that. I have bagels forever, you know?
Now, were you also able to get a good parking spot?
Yes. I don't know if it's because a lot of people know they're open yet. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But also I went like an off hour between not right at the hour marks, which is like when people go to work, like you're driving, they're like, oh, we got to be at work for 7. So like 20 to 7 is like that. Oh, we're racing to work. So I was like, okay, I got there and I was like, there was plenty of spots. And then I went back for lunch and there were plenty of spots at 1:00. So, but that's like, less traffic on Main Street. So we'll see as the days and weeks go on, as more people know that they're actually open, if the parking lot fills up.
Now, I know, I assume it was just them moving whatever, because they make the bagels there, right? They're not shipped in from out of state.
Beforehand, they didn't have the big, I think they had the dough sent, like pre-made.
Okay.
And then they boiled it. Whatever they do to make a bagel, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not 100% sure on the whole process. But now I'm 99.9999% sure they do it all in-house because they have the room.
What I was going to wonder was, with the move of the equipment to the new location, did you notice a difference in the taste, the flavor, the consistency? I don't know what the 4 B's of a perfect bagel is, but
buoyant, like beautiful, busty. I don't know.
Oh, come on now. That's
no, they bust open when you crack them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's your co-host on Porch Talk. That's uncancelable. That's not a push our luck.
I want to push the envelope, but they were good. I think maybe they weren't the best bagel I've ever had at the shop, but they weren't the worst either. I feel like there's a what do you call it? Like breaking in point. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Right. Well, you'll try again tomorrow, I'm sure. Correct?
Oh, definitely. I'll give them. Yeah. I'll help them make their moving money back. So now, I'll even get if I ever have to stop at your house for anything, I'll grab a few for you and the missus. I know.
Oh, that'd be delightful.
Yeah, I know she loves a good everything bagel, right? To get them stuck in your teeth.
Yep. Unflavored, unflavored for me, please. Thank you.
Yep, I know your tastes, Joe. Yes. Extra meat and cheese on it.
No. Yeah, listen, well, again, we're gonna, I can get into all that. So, back just real quick to my son, because it does actually play into some of the stuff from before. So, he's still having the issues with his esophagus. We're going to the GI person next week. And I had suggested to him early on, because I know when I had my issues with that, thankfully I don't anymore. But I noticed that in a pinch, like if I just drink some soda, that'll kind of like, break up whatever's in there or help, everything through. So he was a root beer drinker, and the root beer is not fizzy enough.
Right.
Coke and Coke products are too fizzy.
Right.
So now my kid's a Pepsi man.
That's right. Get him the tattoo.
Yeah.
2 X's on the back of his hands.
Yes. For being twice as good as everyone else.
Yes.
Is that what that's for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. I'm going to say it on here. I don't know what the crossover is with. And again, of course, another episode of the show where you bring up wrestling, as always.
No, I just said get X's. You just get X's on the back of his hands and get a Pepsi tattoo.
Oh, that's right.
That has to do with wrestling.
You could have been talking about comic books. You could have been talking about Talking Dead commentators. You could have been talking about mixed martial arts.
Right. I'm not talking about the W word.
Right. So,
Talking Dead, Phil. But anyway, go ahead.
Remember that? That was his gimmick for a while?
Yep. I always loved that when I was calling him Talking Dead Phil. That was one of them that you were like you thought was pretty good.
That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that calls him by his first name and gives him no respect, I'm for. But that being said,
wow.
That being said, that remark that I just made there might be the last time that I make any sort of remarks in regards to Phil.
Did he save another dog?
No.
Okay.
It's so, again, I don't want to say that it's like too easy, but there's just so many people dunking on him.
Mm-hmm. That you don't feel special anymore.
It's not that I don't feel special.
Go ahead.
It gets lost in like the cacophony of it all, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then it shakes. Like it used to be, I'd make my remarks. Nobody says anything. My friends like it. We all have a chuckle and we all move on, right?
Now people are, what do you call, quote Xing you. So
yes. So it's not that I can't take the heat. It's like Saturday night, I made a remark. I went to bed and I woke up and I'm like, what's all this on my phone? What happened while I slept? And it was just all these people attacking me and making remarks about me and everything else like that. And I'm the type of person where if I see it, I have to acknowledge it and I have to respond to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had shit to do on Sunday. You know, I had to clean up. I had laundry to do. I had the dishes to do. I had stuff getting ready for. We're still getting holiday stuff together for Christmas and whatnot. And I'm like, I can't be dicking around with people on Twitter. Like, I like making my remarks. A couple people like them, and I move on. Now I gotta like, okay. Yes, thank you for calling me fat. And still does not change the fact. You know, and I'm just like, gets to be a lot of work. I don't want to do work. I just want to say something stupid and move on.
That's my bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
Joe, you need to embrace the apathy like I do.
Yeah.
That's what, nothing will get you through life better than apathy.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, my bread and butter. And I forget what give me 1 second. I have as my quote thing on my Trouble in Times Todd X profile, apathy is my sword and indifference is my shield.
There you go.
And boy, oh boy, the slings and arrows do not bother me.
Yeah. So it's not like I was like nobody, believe me, nobody said anything that offended me or that I was
No,
upset
I know what you mean,
by.
but I don't have to answer back is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just feel like that was the thing. I'm like, I got to answer back to everybody, and everything's got to be different. I can't just be like, you suck.
You know who taught me to just not engage anymore? I won't mention the name, but you'll know when I tell you. It's someone we once both agreed goes from 0 to fuck you in a second.
Okay.
And I engaged a couple of times, and then we discussed the 0 to fuck you, and I was like, that changed my whole life. That I was like, now for the most part, unless it's somebody I know, like if it was you, and we were dicking around, I'm like, all right, I'll answer. Or even if you come at me with a different opinion, strong, I'm like, I don't care. All right, I'll engage you, but that's about it. Like close personal friends, and when you pay me to interact with the other people on the network, that's all I do.
A lot of money going out these days is all I'm saying.
Right. The check cleared this week. I'm in the Discord for 1 more week.
There you go. Yeah, but I think I might be done with at least No,
I get you with at least that, because that's got a wide berth right now.
It's
People are on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
People are vanity searching that word, even if they're not the person.
Right.
So I'll try and quote X you every chance I get now.
Thank you.
To my millions and millions of people not listening to me.
Trying to think what else is going on. Oh, so anything else with you, and then I can wrap things up with my day.
No, I'm just getting old. I'm getting more sore every day, so we'll see. That's about it. How's your day?
So I went to the doctor today.
Dr. Vinny Boombots?
Yeah. So I was told that I'm basically healthy.
Yeah, that's a W, baby.
And so it was like, it felt like a W, but it's definitely not a W, because I could definitely tell that he was saying it begrudgingly.
Oh, I know a begrudging sentence going my way. So yeah.
And they have you fill out, like, they give you, like, you don't have to write down your health history. You fill out like on a tablet, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since I've been to a doctor. So I fill everything out, and I always say this. the reason I don't want to go to a doctor, and I haven't gone to a doctor for like 6 or 7 years or whatever it's been,
is they find things.
Well, okay. So they find things, but I feel as though the one person you should never lie to is a doctor.
So if you don't go to him, you can't lie.
If you don't go to him, you can't lie. But I'm there. I got to tell the truth, right? Ugh. So I tell him everything that's been going on. And I'll just say, listen, last week, emotionally, was a very rough week for me, okay?
Yep.
And I made sure to include that in there. And then the nurse comes in and they weigh you and they measure you and the whole thing. And then she kind of like reiterates some of the stuff. And then I tell her, and then the doctor comes in and like, he's a real nice guy. We're talking, whatever. I reiterated it now a third time. It's in writing. And I've told 2 people who are medical professionals. One was wearing scrubs and the other one was wearing like the white jacket over his like button up shirt and tie, like I'm at a doctor's office. I told them these things, right. And they didn't seem as fazed by it as I was. Right.
It's troubling times out there, Joe.
And again, I guess shaking and crying uncontrollably on 2 non-consecutive days in the last week, not that big of a deal.
It's really not.
It's really not, I guess. I don't know.
3 non-consecutive days, we'll start to think about talking about it.
We'll write it down in pen that time.
That's right. No, and we might even highlight it, so we'll ignore it. But yeah, no, I understand. Have you tried just asking for pills? That works for me when I go to my doctor. I found out my doctor will give me anything I ask for. So I try not to ask for anything, but there are times like, how my cough was?
Yeah.
Like it was bad. I was like, Doc, I need something for the cough and I need something for the post-nasal drip. And he's like, here's codeine, like the codeine, like a cocktail we were saying. And here's the pills for, mucus. And I was like, wow, you didn't even like look or stick a light up my nose. You just wrote me a prescription. So I feel that like maybe pain pills would be a little different, but man, oh man, they're just like, we're getting paid by the pharmaceutical people. So here's whatever you want.
Yeah. So when I was at a doctor, I have, asthma symptoms. They're typically like allergy related,
Right.
Like the pollen hits me really hard. When we turned on the heat and it kicked up all the dust, I was like a little wheezy for like a day or 2, right?
Mm-hmm. I was a little George Jefferson when it happened too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just have like the over the counter, whatever the one it's called, Primatene Mist, right?
Right.
Over the counter, I need it. It's maybe like once a day, maybe once every 2 days, I hit that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, if you want me to write, like he must have mentioned like 3 or 4 times, like, well, if you want me to write you a prescription for the albuterol, or I'm mispronouncing it, but like the stronger one, the prescription one, I can. But like, I even remember when I had the prescription one, like those things have like, let's say like 150 hits on it, right?
Right.
And because I didn't need it all the time, it ended up expiring, and it had like still like 70 hits on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, I'd have to go and get a new prescription if I really needed it and everything else like that. And listen, expired medicine works just as good as, not expired medicine. You just have to take a little bit more. Instead of 1 hit, you take 2.
No hits left behind, I say, Joe.
Right. So he offered me like 3 or 4 times that, and he's like, if you feel like your symptoms are flaring up, just stop by and I'll write you a prescription for it.
You know what that's saying, Joe? I can't write this for you without saying yes, without you saying you want it. But wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Do you want it? And Thick Joe is saying no.
Because
and he's and he's just trying to say, all you have to do is say yes, and I'll give this. Yeah. But,
Yeah. I was hoping I would get a referral for the other issues I was having last week, but again, not an issue. Obviously, apparently my weight is a bigger concern.
Well, that is, you can't fix the other things if you don't fix the weight first. That'll slow you down getting there.
Yeah, that's true.
But he didn't ankle at all, or
well, okay. So the ankle came up,
No bloat, no look at kind of a thing?
No, so that's the thing. There's nothing to look at right now, you know,
Right.
and I gave him the whole thing, and I gave him I'm not going to bore you or listeners with the detail. You've listened to the show. You've heard it before. If you want the whole tale, send me a direct message. I have it, you know, in text form, and I'll just send it to you, right?
Right.
But when I fell the second time in 2009, when I described it to him, he says it sounds like I probably tore a hamstring when I fell.
Right.
That second time. And because I never got it like checked like in 2009, I never went to a doctor or hospital or anything else like that. I'm just like, oh, this will be fine. And then like 4 or 5 years later is when I started getting the bloat foot, or like whenever it was, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, it's only with exertion, and when it comes in the summer, I can know when it's coming. I feel it coming on. Usually if it hits at night, I prop it up and I, you know, cut back on whatever foods I'm doing. I put some ice on it, and the next day I wake up and I'm fine. And he goes, that's more than likely what it is. But when you went and got all those tests done, the x-rays and the MRIs and everything else, what they were looking for was either calcium deposits or blood clots.
Right.
And because there were no calcium deposits or no blood clots, because at that time that you went, they were looking at a 5 or 6 year old torn hamstring, there was really nothing they could do other than just make sure that you don't have any blood clots in your legs to die from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're like, get out of here. So like that was like not the greatest news, but at least it was a reason.
Right. That's good.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, he goes, and he's like, as you get older, you might have to take water pills, but you probably would have to take water pills as you get older anyway, but this will probably exacerbate it. I don't have to get any of the invasive procedures.
Right. I keep putting that one off because.
So now again, I'm not giving my diagnosis to you, Todd, mm-hmm. But the doctor that I went to said because I don't have in my health history, like while, you know, my mom, you know, had cancer and she passed and everything like that. But because I don't have those specific cancers that they're screening for, and there's like, you know, and he's like, you check your lymph nodes and check this and check that and everything else like that. But because I don't have that health history, if I had the health history, I would have had to get it done. But because I don't have to have the health history, I could push those off until I'm 50.
Right.
Which is still only 4 years away.
How old am I?
Listen, that's between you and the good Lord, right?
Right.
But yeah, again, basically healthy.
Good.
And I will say this, obviously this is not an overnight process, but I definitely, you know, it is, I'm well aware that I definitely need to lose some weight. It's one day, it's one deck chair off the Titanic, you know. It's more like, what's the thing that they use to play the bow for a violin? It's more like a bow from the violin off the Titanic today, right?
Right. I'm more of a cello bow, so...
But I, you know, like I said, I have to kind of work on my own plan because he didn't really give me a plan of what to do. He just gave me like a brief outline of some things. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's not like it's going to be one of these things where it's like, you know, if I'm serious about this, I'm going to make it my New Year's resolution.
You should make it your New Year's resolution.
No, my New Year's resolution is to stay more hard, fast, and strong in regards to my pet peeves about podcasts, which we're going to go over for the last episode of the year on After Dark.
Can't wait.
It's going to
pet peeves is going over pet peeves on podcasts, but go ahead.
You. I'll do a solo episode.
No, wow, I know you're good at those, but
I did one. So I'll do a solo episode of that, so I don't have to bog you down. It's never mentioning weather or discussing weather on the show. And never bringing you up on at odds. Those are my actual New Year's resolutions.
Good. And just back to the talking to doctors. I told my doctor that I don't overeat anymore.
Yeah.
Or any less.
There you go.
So.
And, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I can't just, like, I'm used to eating shitty food. I just need to make that conscious effort to eat less of it.
Right.
And then
smaller shitty food portions.
Yeah. And to the point where I get to, I'm eating so little, like gradually I'm eating so little shitty food I didn't notice. But I am going to make a very concerted effort to cut soda out completely.
Right.
I've done it before. I could do it again. But you posting up the ginger ale in the Discord didn't help. Granted, it was before I went to the doctor, but I saw you post the ginger ale, and I'm like, I need some ginger ale, God damn it.
Well, I was putting the ginger ale in something else.
Right. Well, that's
which was clearing my arteries. That's like a scrubber, as far as I'm concerned. A blood thinner, at least.
Did you know? And
What?
again, looking this up after I saw your picture of the ginger ale, and I went to go look for some myself.
Right.
Per serving, ginger ale has more sugar and calories than any other non-diet soda out there.
That's crazy.
Because I went and I looked, and like my kid, drinking whatever, and he wanted to try the holiday Sprite that is like cranberries and shit in it,
Right. Oh, I love cranberry Canada Dry. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. So I go and I look, I get him the thing of Sprite, the bottle, it's 160 calories, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go and I look at a thing of Canada Dry, like not the zero sugar diet, whatever. Thing is, Canada Dry is 200 calories.
Okay.
I go, what the hell is this? So I go and I look at Schweppes ginger ale. That's 230 calories. What the hell's going on with ginger ale that it's so fucking bad for you?
It's all the ginger.
Well, okay, and again, listen, as a 4-day ginger ale historian and researcher here.
Yeah. You're not a ginger ale apologist. You're a ginger ale understander.
Yes. The Canada Dry actually has enough ginger extract in it that it's the second thing after water.
Gotcha.
Schweppes don't got no ginger or no ginger extract in it at all.
Oh.
It's just got like whatever their approximations are to make it taste like ginger. But
it's artificial ginger flavoring?
yes.
Ugh.
But like
I was
when you
always
look at
more of a Canada Dry man myself.
Me too. Yeah.
I know. And I'm trying to get off the ginger ale and get on the Marianne ale, but that's a whole nother story.
All right. That's a perfect way to end the show, I think.
Right.
It was a false start out of the gates, but we're good to go. This was episode 474. Longbox Heroes After Dark, patreon.com/Longbox Heroes. We're doing the Justice League pilot from 1997 this week, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So go sign up for the Patreon, get this show early so you can listen to everything in the correct listening order. The more stuff going on in our life, the bigger these shows get.
Right.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.